Hello, NXT Instagram. Andy Shepherd from NXT UK here, as we have been for the past several weeks, because of course tonight it's Thursday night on the WWE Network. It means that is NXT UK night tonight. Of course, we have another episode for you. Superstars are going to be picking some of their favourite matches. I can tell you right now, it is a stacked episode. So make sure you tune in. That's going to be 8 o'clock here in the United Kingdom. That's 3 o'clock Eastern time during the States. Got to put my teeth in tonight. How is everyone? Where are you joining us from tonight? As you may well have seen, we are joined by the bomber himself, Dave Mastiff. So hey, without any further ado, let's try and bring the bomber in. If you've got any questions for Dave Mastiff, fire them through. I cannot wait to see Bomber has been up to these past few months. It's been a while since I talked to Dave. I wonder how he's doing. Mr. Mastiff, how are we?
How are we doing, Andy? You okay?
I'm very well. Hey, first of all, I got to start by wishing you a belated happy birthday.
Oh, thank you very much. It's very kind of you.
Couple of days ago. How was the birthday? Because of course here in the UK things are evolving, things are changing, but we're still kind of restricted in what we can do. How was a birthday in this abnormal time?
It was pretty fantastic, really. Surrounded by my family, so that's the number one thing for me. And got a cool little few gifts, little gadget for my guitar, new little amp. So I can't complain of that, can I?
You got a guitar. Would you like to play as a tune? I don't know if you saw Mark Andrews playing as a tune.
I don't think I could match Mark, and I don't think I could play anything that's not copyrighted, really. So
I hear you. It's not quite time to turn this into NXT UK's Got Talent. But David, let's talk about how you've been, because it's going to be several months probably since the NXT universe heard from you. How have you been? How have you been keeping ready? How's everything been going?
Things have been good, to be honest. Personally, we've been in lockdown for about 4.5 months, is it?
Something like that.
Yeah, and to be honest, it's not been that bad at all for me, because I've spent every day with my son. I've had my family here. I've got a gym set up in my garage, which was done for me as a birthday present last year. So I've been pretty lucky in terms of that. And as lockdown has eased and restrictions have been lifted, I've been able to catch up with a couple of friends finally. And it's been frustrating at times, obviously. And obviously the one thing that we're all missing, and I think I can speak on behalf of everybody in NXT UK, is we're all missing performing. We're all missing getting in the ring and having matches and entertaining the WWE universe. And I've been doing this for 18 years, and this is the longest I've gone without being in the ring by quite a considerable margin. I think the longest I've ever had off before this has been something like 4 weeks. So it's certainly plays with your sanity a little bit, shall we say.
Now, I've been doing these chats with the NXT UK roster for, I think this is 10, 11, 12 weeks now. And a lot of the superstars have been using this time trying to, put the positive spin on it, whereby, as you said, the longest you probably had off in close to 20 years is 4 weeks. So has this time, of course it's frustrating not being able to perform, but has this time had any upsides, like the body being able to heal, all those little nagging, niggles you've got? How are they all doing?
Well, to be honest, I think because I've been doing it for so long with such regularity, my body's kind of callous to the, the arduous schedule and the rigors of professional wrestling. So it's, I don't hurt, but
is there a worry? Is there a worry that after so long off, the first time you get back inside that squared circle, will that callus maybe have just worn off a bit? Is there any thought about that?
No way. It's just part of me. Yeah. I've been wrestling half my life, and it's who I am. It's what I do, and with, like I said, with the regularity that I've done it for such a period of time, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of parts to it which are just like muscle memory. So I will be able to I'll be able to just get in and get on with it. It might be slightly different, and it might catch me a little bit by surprise, but I've been keeping active and keeping fit, and kicking my own backside. So I don't think there's going to be any part of me that's going to be lacking or not ready to get back in the ring.
How much have you had to think about what you want to accomplish moving forward? I know so often, you guys are running so quickly. There's so much going on. It's hard to sometimes step back and see what you've achieved. Has this time away given you that opportunity to see, what you've accomplished, but also to really plan what you're going to do when you do get back inside a WWE ring?
Well, personally, I think the aim is pretty much always the same. The things that I want to accomplish, and things I want to do, places I want to go, they remain unchanged. For anybody who's involved in professional wrestling and anybody within WWE, we all want to be on WrestleMania. We all want to be at the Royal Rumble. We all want to be on the big shows and things like that. So that hasn't changed one bit. Personal goals, smaller goals, not really anything has come to mind, because I've always, throughout this time, there's been so much uncertainty, and obviously we're not making shows at the moment because we can't, because of the restrictions in place by the UK government still. So without knowing what's going on, there's no real point in making any concrete plans. But I just know that I miss professional wrestling. I miss seeing, I've got some good friends where I work. I miss seeing them. I miss entertaining. I miss getting hurt. I miss hurting others.
I hear you on the missing people. I think it's going to be, I think the entire NXT UK roster is so close, and I think that's one of the things that makes this brand so unique, is that everyone does want to get back together and see one another. But let's go back to your situation, because you say you've got a gym built in the house. That's got to be super useful, and of course you've got a strong man's background. You're a former strongman, that's correct?
Yeah, I've competed in strongman, powerlifting, and just for me that was all recreation. I never wanted to pursue it professionally, but it was just I enjoy the spectacle of strongman. And in terms of, it's a really kind of primitive, masculine thing, and there's a lot of things that people do, and hobbies and stuff like that. Particularly with something such as bodybuilding. And bodybuilding's a great sport, and there's a lot of dedicated athletes. But when it comes down to a bodybuilding competition, you're judged by a group of individuals, and it's their perception as to who's the best. Whereas with something like strongman, there's no perception. It's fact. That person is the strongest, because everyone has to challenge themselves and step up to the same parameters. And when it comes to events such as World's Strongest Man, there are, there's like 6.5 billion people in the world. So if you win that, you are undoubtedly the strongest person out of 6.5 billion people. And I find that kind of thing mind-blowing.
That is mind-blowing. Remember, guys, if you've got a question for the Bobber, please do send them through. I'll be asking those in just a few moments' time. Going back to strongman, what was your favourite or your best event?
I think favourite, everybody who competes in strongman, everybody loves doing the Atlas Stones. It's a tough event, and there's a couple of variations which you can do in terms of maximum weight, or you can lift them onto a platform in as quick a time as possible. So that's a really fun one. Personally, my favourite lift is squat. And yeah, that's the kind of face everyone pulls, but it's something that came natural to me, and it's the thing I enjoy most. And it's, again, a lot of people say deadlift is the king of all lifts, and I would tend to agree with them, because it's just picking that weight up off the floor. But if you don't get the weight off the floor, there's no real ramifications. But when you've got 700 pounds on your back, 800 pounds on your back, something like that, if you go down and you don't get back up, you're in trouble. So it takes a bit more of an edge, and you've got to really back yourself to be able to do something like that.
Now, I think a lot of people looking at you, Dave, would know that strongman was perhaps something that was in your past. But Also, you were a county level gymnast.
Yeah. um,
It's kind of mind-boggling how I know you're agile. We've all seen you in that ring, but you're a colossal man.
yeah, that was something that I did in my childhood, and that lasted till I was 11 or 12. And that kind of it was one of those things. It was I just seemed to have an aptitude for it, and I just did it, and I enjoyed it. And then as I grew slightly older, so 11 or 12, going into secondary school, I became a little more interested in. I mean, I always loved football. I always wanted to play football, but I just became a little more interested in the sports with more contact. So rugby, and I always wanted to box as well, but I was never allowed when I was young because my mother was worried I'd get hurt. So I decided to do this instead, obviously.
How much do you think the strongman background and that agility that you brought with it from gymnastics, how much has that helped you in your pro wrestling, your sports entertainment career?
Well, the pair of them together is quite a unique combination, and I think that's the thing that's benefited me most, because if I was just a discipline of if I was a disciple of one sport, then I would have limitations to that sport. But because I was so ingrained in both of them, it gave me a bit more of a competitive edge. It made me, I mean, the gymnastics background made me made me more agile than the average person was. But then obviously when I started getting into strength training and playing contact sports and things like that, I still had an amount of agility that belied my physical stature. So it's kind of become like a perfect moment almost, where I can, use attributes of both things, and it creates a unique package.
Got a few questions for you here. There's a lot of love, and this is coming from myself as well. A lot of love for the beard. It's fantastic. So I've got a question from Jackie Joe. How do you keep your beard so good?
Well, I grew it all myself, for starters.
Did you?
That's the main thing. Yeah, cultivated all myself. Now I wash it, condition it. I've got a couple of nice beard oils and balms. I just use them on. I'm quite a well-groomed, hairy man, is what I would say. So I use those, and I can't think what I'm using at the minute, and I don't want to.
Hey, Maestro's Classic. How about you sort out Mr. Mastiff? That is a beard that you want to be a part of.
Maestro Classic. There we go.
There we go. And I got a question here from Jack. What does a strong man eat for breakfast?
Well, this strong man for breakfast normally eats some kind of combination of eggs and bacon and a bagel sometimes. If I'm relaxing and I'm having, if I'm having a birthday treat, shall we say, like the other day, I'll have a bowl of Lucky Charms or Reese's peanut butter cereal. So, but that's on the relaxed day, shall we say. And only allowed a few of those because we've got to try and keep fit, and I want to get back to being in the ring soon.
Amen. Now, when you were sort of starting out in the business, of course, you were a big guy. Were there other big men in the industry that you looked up to?
Yeah, obviously, from a young age, a lot of guys that I look up to, they had their primes long before I started wrestling. Just a couple of names, obviously Vader, and he had a great combination of agility and strength. Terry Bam Bam Gordy as well, who just, I find him so captivating to watch. He's so wild, so unpredictable. He's just a burly, tough guy, and those are two of the main bigger guys who stood out to me, and their style, their athleticism, their ruggedness, kind of captivated me as a fan.
We talk about your ruggedness. Of course, we've seen you in multiple stipulation matches here in NXT UK. Of course, the last man standing against Joe Coffey. That's going to go down in the annals of NXT UK history. Got a question here from RWB95. Do you prefer regular singles matches or special matches, the special stipulation matches?
I've got no real preference, to be honest. Sometimes there are special occasions, and you have to go above and beyond what you would normally do. And for instance, Cardiff last year with Joe Coffey at Takeover 2, that was a time for exceptional circumstances and having to do something slightly beyond the norm. And I'm not gonna say it was horrible, because it wasn't. There was a lot of risks taken, but the feeling that you get from taking those risks afterwards, in particular, is like no other. It's pure adrenaline, and if I could bottle it and sell it, I'd be a billionaire, because it's such a rush, and that's ultimately why we do what we do, because we love to perform, we love to entertain, and it makes us feel so good, and the fact that other people can come along with us for the ride is just unbelievable.
Now, when we look at the WWE universe, and I've said this before on these live streams, that one of the cool things about NXT and NXT UK is there's some kind of fluidity. Superstars moving backwards and forwards. It's a really amazing time to be part of these brands. But when you look at the entire WWE landscape, who would you love to step into the ring with?
Oh.
Anyone.
Well, it'd be unfair to pick one, because there's a lot of guys and girls.
Do you, Mr. Mastiff, you can pick as many as you like?
Well, there's a lot of people I respect and I think who are supremely talented. Someone like Randy Orton, for the longevity that he's had, he's on another level. But then there's other guys. There's someone like Samoa Joe, and I've got a history with Samoa Joe on the independents, and to do it in the ring would be really cool, really special.
Now, Dave, I want to talk about one of the matches we're going to see you in tonight on NXT UK. It's a match between yourself and Eddie Dennis. So I've just got a little bit of a break up there, so apologies if I spoke over you, Dave. Tonight we're going to see you versus Eddie Dennis on NXT UK. What have those matches been like?
In NXT from Australia.
I've got a bit of an internet lag my side. Can you see me, Mr. Mastiff? I think we're back. We're back.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Apologies if I spoke
go.
over you there, Dave. I think there was a bit of a lag here. So I just want to talk about tonight's episode of NXT UK. We're going to see you up against Eddie Dennis. How's it been stepping into the ring against that competitor?
Eddie's a smart guy, very smart. He pushes me, and I think that brought out something in me, in particular at Blackpool. And tonight you're going to see something that was just the very start of what NXT UK so far, I guess.
And Dave, before I let you go, when you get back into the NXT UK ring, who are your eyes going to be set upon? Once again, we got a little stutter there, Dave. Can you see me?
You again.
There, are we back? I think we might be back.
Yeah.
Okay, final question before we go, Dave, because NXT UK starts in just 10 minutes on the WWE network. But once we do get you and the rest of the NXT UK roster back inside the squared circle, who are you going to be focused on? Is there anyone that comes to mind on the NXT UK roster that you'd love to get back in the ring with to kick things off? I think we may have had another gremlin in the works here. But Mr. Mastiff, I'll let you go because we've got 10 minutes until tonight's NXT UK. So, Dave, thank you very much for joining me. It's been great to hear from you, and I look forward to seeing you back inside an NXT UK ring very soon. So once again, we had some little gremlins in the works there. Apologies for that. But remember, you can see Dave Mastiff and a whole plethora of other NXT UK superstars tonight on the WWE Network. In fact, in just 10 minutes' time on the WWE Network. So do go and check it out. I'm Andy Shepherd. I'll be back with you right here, same time next week. But for now, stay safe and take care.